Alright, hi everyone. So in this occasion, we are from Group 6. We'll discuss about solid and liquid substances in this week. So the members of the group is me, Ival Sukatri, and also my partners is Halimah Tusadia and Hidayati Ridola. So the next slide, please. We will discuss about table of the contents of this material. First one, we will discuss about substances, and then we move to the solid substances and the liquid substances. So, we need you to know about substances first. First of all, we want you to know about substances and what are the type of substances that exist in our earth. In our everyday life, we always come across with properties of substances. They are solid, liquid, and gaseous ones. Please move to the next slide, please. So this is the solid, liquid, and gaseous ones. There are a lot of solid substances, such as metal. Next slide. Metal, stone, and concrete. An example of solid substances and under discussion is focused on metal properties that will be discussed in the next slide. And also there are a couple of number of example of liquid substances, which are water and oil. Those two kinds of substances are almost visible. It means we can see them with our naked eyes. Especially oil will be explained in the next slides later. Next. And then gaseous substances. On the other hand, they are invisible, and yet they can be smelled. Example of gases are ammonia, helium, nitrogen, oxygen, and etc. Some substances are useful for human beings, and others are very dangerous and poisonous. And this week, we will discuss about solid and liquid substances. Next. So this is the solid substances will be explained by my partner, Hidayati Ridola. For Hidayati, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, moderator. So this is unit 2. We're talking about the solid substances. Next slide, please. So there are many kinds of solid substances that are mentioned on the previous slides. Now we will discuss one of the types of solids, which is metals. So metals are divided into two types. The first one is ferrous metal and the second one is non-ferrous metals. Ferrous metal are any metal that contains iron, such as stainless steel. They are known for their tensile strength, which makes them ideal for architectural and structural use, such as the tallest skyscrapers, as well as bridge, railways, and more. Examples: steel, carbon steel, cast iron, and wrought iron. And the second type is non-ferrous metals. Non-ferrous metals don't contain iron. They are lighter and more malleable than ferrous metals, making them ideal for application where strength is required but weight is the consideration, such as with the aerospace industry, example aluminum, copper, lead, tin, brass, gold, and zinc. So this is the example of ferrous iron. The first one is cast iron. Cast iron is a combination of iron carbon formed through a molding process, melting iron or in a burning furnace and then pouring it into the prefabricated mold. After it cools and hardens, the melt is removed from the mold. And cast iron is a hard and wear-resistant metal that is widely used for items including cookware, machine tools, engines, and manhole covers and water pipes. The second one is wrought iron. Wrought iron is a type of iron formed through a forging process. Unlike most other ferrous metals, wrought iron is able to resist corrosion and oxidation. It is typically used for fans, railings, and gates. And the next one is steel. Steel is a combination of iron and carbon. Steel is renowned for its strength and machinability. and it is widely used in construction, manufacturing, and industrial metal fabrication. Next, please. This is the example of non-ferrous metals. The first one is aluminum. Aluminum is lightweight and easy to machine, shape, and weld. And aluminum is used for a range of applications from food cans and cookware to aeroplane parts and cars. The second one is tin. Tin is soft and malleable with a low tensile strength. Tin is used as a coating to prevent steel from corroding. And then brass. Brass is used for fixtures and fittings, including tabs, hooks, and door knobs, as well as being used for light fittings and screws, among other uses. Cast iron is really an alloy of iron and carbon. It is from pig iron, which has been melted and made purer. The amount of carbon in cast iron is reduced to between 2.5 to 4%, as cast iron is very brittle and it will not bend, and it cannot be forged either. On either hand, it is easily machined, and cast iron is used for making surface, plates, V-blocks, and marking out tables. And cast iron also can be neither forged nor bent. And cast iron is made from pig iron, which has been refined. Next slide, please. This is the carbon content in metals. Here, the amount of carbon is reduced to between cast iron is reduced to between 2.5 to 4%, and mild steel or low carbon has up to 0.25%, so it is easily cut, filled, and drilled, and it can be forged. And the third one is medium carbon steel, contains between 0.25 to 0.5%. And the next one is tool steel or high carbon steel, has a carbon content of 0.5 to 1.3%. And the last one is raw iron. Raw iron is an iron alloy with a very low carbon content. It usually contains less than 0.05%. Back to moderator.
Right. So we move to the next material. Will be explained by my partner Halimah. For Halimah, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, the moderator. In this unit, you will read about liquid substance which focus on oil, namely oil wells, crude oil, and oil refineries. The first is crude oil. Crude oil or petroleum oil means a mixture of hydrocarbons that exist in liquid phase in natural underground reservoirs and remains liquid at atmospheric pressure after passing through surface separating facilities. And the second is oil wells. Petroleum oil is normally found in strata below the ground where it has been formed over millions of years from deposits of plants and animals, overlaid and compressed by the sedimentary mud and rock. The oil, which may lie in a stratum porous rock, is usually prevented from seeping up to the surface by impervious rock strata. It is necessary to drill through the rock and convict the oil to the surface by means of pipes. And the next of oil refineries. Because the different hydrocarbons present in crude oil have different boiling points. The crude oil can be heated and the hydrocarbons which are vaporized can be separated from those which remain as liquids. Thus, separate fraction can be obtained. This is a principle of distillation which is used many times in the processing of oil at the refinery. The crude oil is heated and passed through pipes into distillation column, where the fractions are separated. The heaviest hydrocarbons remain liquid and are drained off at the base of the column. As the vapors of the lighter hydrocarbons rise, they become cooler until they condense and can be drawn off as liquid fractions. Hydrocarbons with relatively few carbon atoms don't condense until they are near the top of the column. Finally, Finally, there are some hydrocarbons which remain as vapor even at the top of the column. Primary distillation, which yields several fractions, is carried out in the main column of the crude distillation unit. Further distillation is carried out in subsidiary columns. To separate some of the fractions still further. The heaviest fraction obtained from primary distillation is redistillate under reduced pressure in a vacuum distillation unit to produce wax and lubricating oil. Crude oil heated at 20 degrees Celsius will produce gas. 115 degrees Celsius will produce gasoline, and 200 degrees will produce kerosene. 300 degrees will produce edible oil, and 400 degrees will produce lubricating oil, paraffin wax, and acetylene. Okay, thank you. That's all for me. Back to the moderator.
All right, thank you for all of the presenters that explained our material this week very well. So in conclusion, there are a number of metals that we discussed in this our material, three of which are very common: iron, steel, and silver. And also the example of liquid is oil. And we have learned about oil refinery, crude oil wells, and petroleum oil. And then, if you guys have questions or any other interesting information, don't hesitate to ask us and tell us in our class discussion later. Thank you for your attention and see you next time.